My name is James Bell, and I'm a Director of Product Marketing at Modern Work for Microsoft. Amisha and I are excited to talk about new intelligent capabilities in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center designed for IT admins and adoption specialists. We'll start by discussing the challenges IT face to support a distributed workforce and maximize value from their investments, and then walk through new capabilities that help you realize more value from your Microsoft 365 subscription, experience insights, adoption score, and organizational messages. We'll show you how to take advantage of these capabilities with demos, and we'll end with some key takeaways to help you get started. The Microsoft 365 Admin Center is used to manage applications, services, data, devices, and users across your Microsoft 365 subscription from a central dashboard. IT admins can update and assign role-based permissions that define what individual users can see and access. And best of all, the Admin Center recommends ways to improve your experience based on how people in your company are using Microsoft 365. Today, we are seeing a shift in what IT is being asked to do. The traditional roles and responsibilities remain, and in addition, IT is being asked to realize more value from their investments for a distributed workforce. Depending on the size and complexity of an organization, IT groups are approaching this problem by giving IT admins more responsibility or creating other roles, such as success or adoption specialists, to drive these tasks. The challenge to drive these tasks successfully in today's landscape is also difficult. Gone are the days when you can put up a poster in a hallway to remind users to try a new feature or promote an efficient way of working. Users can be located anywhere, and finding ways to understand how they work and communicate with them in the flow of work has become a lot harder. To help address this gap, the Microsoft 365 Admin Center is evolving and changing to support these needs. Today, we're excited to share new innovations to the Admin Center that help you maximize your investments for both IT admins and adoption specialists. Experience insights and adoption score give you deeper visibility into people and technology experiences, including usage, sentiment, training, and survey trends. Organizations will now be able to act faster and smarter on these insights by delivering in-product communications through organizational messages, which help users adopt Microsoft 365 recommended practices and proactively address issues before they arise. This is being achieved using insights and AI-powered recommendations to help you spend less time on routine tasks without losing any control of the environment and help you maximize return on investment with Microsoft 365. These new capabilities are also backed by a strong commitment to user-level privacy. This is the start of our journey to bring more capabilities to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to help IT stay on top of all stages of your organization's digital experience with Microsoft 365 and focus on more strategic initiatives. Amisha will now walk us through experience insights and the role it plays helping you understand how people are using Microsoft 365.
Thanks, James. Hi all, I'm Amisha Bhatia, and I'm a product manager on the Microsoft 365 Admin Center team. Today, I'll be talking about all the new capabilities we're building to empower adoption specialists, IT admins, or those who are responsible for driving digital experiences in their organization. When we talked to several enterprise organizations, we heard loud and clear that while there are many resources and metrics available for understanding your org's experience with Microsoft 365, piecing together the user experience can be difficult since the resources are spread out. We heard you, and we've built Experience Insights, which is now rolling out to public preview in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. It's an experience specifically built for understanding the user's experience with Microsoft 365. Whether you're an IT admin or an adoption specialist, or even just do some of these tasks, you now have one place to go to monitor and access all the relevant resources to ensuring a positive digital experience. We started by giving orgs usage signals, but recognize that it's not just how people are using the products that defines their experience, but also understanding how happy users are using the products and where they might be struggling. So we've augmented the data set with signals that help you understand sentiment and pain points to give you a fuller picture of your org's experience. It's also an entry point for richer experiences that allow you to deep dive into the data, such as understanding and driving recommended practices in your organization. And since driving training and awareness is so crucial in driving a positive user experience and a core task and pain point expressed by many customers, we're also building training suggestions customized to your organization that help you pinpoint training to improve your org's experience with Microsoft 365. Enough talking, let's take a look. Experience Insights is available at admin.microsoft.com. If you're a global admin or global reader, you'll see this prompt to check out the new experience. If you're a reports reader, you will be defaulted into this new view. You can always toggle between views by using the dashboard switcher in this top right corner. At the top of the experience, you'll see dashboard cards that help you get a lens into the different data sources available to you, and a quick overview of stats. Clicking on these cards takes you to the dedicated experiences for digging into each of these data sources more deeply. The core part of the experience is in the Apps and Services data section. Based on your feedback that success with Microsoft 365 is a combination of metrics, we've brought together the relevant data sources that help you understand not just usage, but sentiment and struggle areas as well. We've aggregated this data by product so that you can get an at-a-glance view of the user experience for some of the products in your organization. Let's talk a little bit more about the signals. Active usage is one that you're probably most familiar with and tells you the number of active users for the product. Product usage allows you to see the % of enabled users for the product that are actually using it. It can help you understand where you have opportunities to drive further adoption. In-product feedback volume allows you to see the number of unsolicited feedbacks that users in your org are submitting to Microsoft from within each of the products. Net Promoter Score, or NPS, is a solicited survey, again in each of the products, that helps you understand how likely users are to recommend the product to a friend or colleague, and is the current industry standard for assessing satisfaction. And lastly, a brand new data source that we lit up specifically for this experience is Help Article Views. This tells you the number of articles that are being read by users in your organization on support.microsoft.com or in our in-app help experiences. Now you can see how you can view all of these diverse data signals together to get a better pulse on your org's experience with Microsoft 365. In my org, Teams is a super important initiative, so I want to dig in deeper to learn more. I can click on Teams to get additional data that can help me understand what's going on. First, I can see additional uses information, which includes key feature level metrics, such as channel messages and chat messages usage. If you notice, we also overlay if there was a service incident or advisory over the last 30 days to help you assess if there was any correlation between the data and the incident or advisory. We do this across all of our data signals, again, to make it easier to traverse all these relevant signals to understand the user experience. Next, if I click on Feedback, I can not only see the feedback volume, but also the exact comments that users in my organization actually submitted. These comments can help me find potential issues, training gaps, or areas of satisfaction. To get value from this data, it's important that users do take action to provide feedback. We do actually read and respond to the feedback users are submitting, so please encourage your users to provide feedback. And to really emphasize our commitment in responding to feedback, we have also launched a new feedback portal at feedbackportal.microsoft.com, where users can see responses from Microsoft to feedback as well as provide community feedback. By looking at these comments again, I can see that some users are talking about difficulties with call recordings. Moving to NPS, you can not just see how many people responded to the survey, but also how many were promoters, passives, and detractors. And just like in product feedback, we provide you with the exact comments that users have submitted. Here again, I can see some chatter about meeting recordings. Using this rich data set again requires users to respond to the NPS survey when prompted. We also bucket the NPS data into what we call top topics, which make it easier for you to parse this data. You can also go to the NPS Survey Insights dashboard to check out the sentiment, positive or negative, for each of these top topics. And last but not least is help content data. If I click here, I can see, again, not just the volume, but also what top articles were being accessed by users in my organization from support.microsoft.com and in our in-app help experiences. And not everyone actively seeks out help, so it's an excellent indicator of not only what people are struggling with, but also what people are trying to do with the product. You can also click on each article to see exactly what your users were trying to learn. From this data, I can see that articles relating to meeting recordings is also popping to the top of the list. So it's definitely an area I'd want to drive more training on. You can see how we've made it dead simple to traverse all of these different data signals to help you quickly identify struggle areas so that you can take action for your organization. And because driving training is such a core action to help driving a positive user experience, we're going one step further to provide you with training suggestions for your org. If I come back to the Experience Insights dashboard and navigate to Suggested Training, I can see training suggestions from Microsoft, which is based off the help data consumption in my organization. There are 3 categories of suggestions we're starting with. The first is top viewed for your organization, which gives me a cross-product view of the top articles being accessed in my organization. Trending articles is the next category and gives you a view into articles that may not have been popular before, but are suddenly becoming popular in your org. They can help you identify if there's an issue going on or a new need arising in your organization. And lastly, we have commonly viewed together. These articles are suggested based on what's most commonly viewed along with the top and trending articles in your organization. Again, if I click on an article, I can not only see the article, but also take action to share the link with others in my organization. In the future, we will be looking at ways to optimize the delivery of the training to your organization. You can also rate the suggestion, and doing so helps us tune our recommendations to ensure that they are meeting your needs. Suggested training is currently targeted to start rolling out to public preview by the end of the calendar year. As I mentioned, the experience is currently available on admin.microsoft.com as an opt-in experience for global admins and global readers, and on by default for reports readers. And no matter your role, you'll always have the option to toggle between the experiences. The experience is currently in targeted release for organizations that have at least 20,000 seats. Over the next few months, we'll be investigating bringing the experience to smaller enterprises as well. You've also brought it to our attention that not everyone who is responsible for driving a positive user experience with Microsoft 365 has access to the Admin Center. To address that, we're doing 2 things. First, we're creating a new role in Azure Active Directory called User Experience Success Manager. It provides access to only the assets needed to understand the user experience, such as feedback, NPS, adoption score, and message center. Additionally, since maintaining privacy is our #1 priority, data provided is only at the organizational level. Secondly, since people who complete these tasks may not always come to or be used to coming to the Admin Center, as you saw in the demo, we're making all of this rich functionality into a Teams app to make it more accessible for those not currently performing traditional IT admin tasks. This provides your IT org flexibility in how they want to consume the data, through admin.microsoft.com or through the new Teams app, or even both. Now that we've talked about how we're bringing all of this rich data together, I'm going to pass it back to James, who's going to talk about some exciting changes to Adoption Score, which helps you to improve the experiences for your org and also get the most value out of your investment in Microsoft 365.
Thanks, Amisha. Let's now walk through how Adoption Score achieves this in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. Firstly, Adoption Score provides visibility to understand how your organization works with Microsoft 365. Second, we provide insights on this data to identify where you can enable improved experiences for your organization so they can reach their goals quicker and easier than before. Lastly, we want to help you take actions on items that matter to your organization so that users can adopt recommended practices and work smarter when using Microsoft 365. To aid interpretation of Adoption Score insights, a score is given for each Microsoft 365 tenant across 8 categories, with a maximum score of 800 split between people and technology experiences. People experiences in Adoption Score helps you, the IT admin or adoption specialist, understand how your organization leverages recommended practices included in Microsoft 365 and provides guidance on how to get the most out of your Microsoft 365 subscription. By providing insights about how your organization adopts Microsoft 365, users can be reminded about a recommended approach to use one or more products or features, backed by research that saves time and effort. We measure this across 5 people experience categories: communication, meetings, content collaboration, teamwork, and mobility. The Technology Experiences section allows IT admins to gain further insights into technology areas that can influence your people experiences. Factors such as endpoint boot times, network throughput and latency, and Microsoft 365 app servicing contribute to varying degrees to people's technology experiences. We measure this across 3 categories: endpoint analytics, network connectivity, and Microsoft 365 apps health. These insights are backed by our strengthened commitment to user-level privacy. At Microsoft, we believe that data-driven insights are crucial to empowering people and organizations to achieve more. We are also deeply committed to the privacy of every person who uses our products. As part of that commitment, no one in the organization will be able to use Adoption Score to access data about how an individual user is using apps and services in Microsoft 365. Adoption Score can be found under Reports in the left-hand navbar of the Microsoft 365 Admin Center and must be enabled by a global administrator to see both people and technology experiences. Once enabled, an IT admin or adoption specialist will be able to review their organization's score in the top right-hand side of the console, which is broken down into sub-scores per category. The blue line shows your organization's primary score indicators across each people experience category, and the purple line shows your score for technology experiences, both of which are compared against a peer benchmark line in grey. The peer benchmark gives you a comparison between companies of a similar size, geography, and industry, and should be viewed as a broad indicator of progress. We're rolling out a change to the Adoption Score landing page to show each category score at a glance on the landing page, making it easier to understand where your organization is on their journey to adopting recommended practice and where there are opportunities for improvement. Each people insight is calculated from a primary score. If we look at communication, we can see the primary score is the percentage of people in your organization that use more than one mode to communicate. We provide additional insights to help you understand how your organization adopts Microsoft 365 recommended practice, such as insights including the response rate for new emails with app mentions. We recently introduced the Time Trends feature, which helps organizations understand how adoption of recommended practices has evolved over the last 30, 90, or 180 days. This view can reveal trends over time or inform IT admins if recent communications on using app mentions is delivering the desired outcome. In this example, we can see that communication has risen sharply for the last 30 days, but has remained flatter over the last 6 months. Today, we're excited to announce new capabilities within Adoption Score, which we're gradually rolling out in public preview to tenants who have activated Adoption Score in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. These capabilities strengthen each pillar across visibility, insights, and actions to better support IT admins and adoption specialists. To improve visibility, we are releasing an updated meetings page under People Experiences, which will provide transparency on which recommended practices affect your score, what recommended practices show the most significant growth, and also areas for improvement. This is the first step in our plan to update each People Experience page to improve transparency and recommendations. We are also adding the User Experience Success Manager role to help organizations who separate administrative and adoption functions, enabling them to have visibility across Adoption Score and selected areas of the Microsoft 365 Admin Center. This change helps adoption and change management specialists see the information that pertains only to them to help drive the organization's digital transformation goals without visibility into administrative functions. We understand that different parts of your organization have different needs and work styles, and an organizational level view doesn't allow you to see nuances in each of your business groups. To address this, we are adding group level aggregates to each People Experience category, which enables you to filter by 5 Azure Active Directory attributes: company, department, country, state, and city. For group level aggregate information to be displayed, the capability must be enabled by a global administrator, and a minimum of 10 users must be included in a group to ensure that individual users cannot be tracked. Lastly, we are releasing exciting new functionality with Adoption Score that enables IT admins to drive change. Organizational messages will change the way users understand how to get more from Microsoft 365 using targeted in-product notifications delivered to the right people at the right time in their flow of work while also respecting user-level privacy. We do this by only targeting users in a group or organisation that can benefit from guidance or recommended practice, and we don't share with anyone who receives a message. All results are anonymised. Let's take a look through these new capabilities now to see how we put all of this into practice. Let's start by taking a look at our updated Meetings People Experience page. We want to provide IT admins and adoption specialists with transparency into how your score is calculated, and we achieve this by breaking the primary insight into 3 parts, with clear indicators of which recommended practices we measure across setup, meetup, and follow-up. We have also provided additional information in the console. When I click on Read More, I'm given more transparency into how the score is calculated. We've also improved the layout of the meeting page to make it more readable. Now, if I scroll down, you can see where the most significant growth has occurred and where the biggest area for improvement is. In this example, we can see that encouraging users to share visual content on Teams meetings will improve the organization's meeting culture. In this example, we can see that encouraging users to share visual content on Teams meetings will improve the organization's meeting score. When I scroll down further, additional insights, interesting findings, and Microsoft research is also provided to give you a complete view of how people use meeting tools with Microsoft 365. We've also made it easier across each people experience to see what parts of the organization need help in adopting recommended practices through group level aggregates. After a global administrator has enabled group level aggregates for your tenant and run through an AAD check to ensure the data for each attribute is validated, authorized users are able to view people experience data across 5 different categories. Let's see how this works using communication as an example, which has an organization score of 79 points. In this scenario, I'm going to filter by the department attribute to see how different departments are adopting recommended practice. The sales department shows a high level of adoption at 87 points, and by looking at their insights, I can see they are using recommended practices and no further action needs to be taken. When I filter by the finance department, we notice that their score is much lower than the average at 39 points. Looking at the insights, we can see that some members of the finance team are using Microsoft Teams, but most still rely on email as their primary form of communication. Seeing this level of detail can help IT admins and adoption specialists explain to leadership why the score is lower than expected across different departments in the organization and provide clear direction on what parts of the organization could benefit from adopting Microsoft 365 recommended practices. Adoption Score now provides you with 2 places where you can take action, under How I Can Impact My Score, and view content related to this insight and take action underneath the insight. This leverages a capability we refer to as organizational messages. For this example, we want to encourage members of the finance team to start using Microsoft Teams. Once we click View Content related to this insight and take action, we see the recommended action details pane. By clicking Create Message, we start the wizard to set up and schedule our organizational message encouraging Teams adoption. On the next slide, we can see where the message will be displayed. In this instance, the message will appear on either the Word, Excel, PowerPoint, or Outlook desktop ribbon. We can preview this message by clicking Preview to see what the user will see. Now we can configure the message recipients and see that the finance department has already been filtered for this message because we took action on the insight when we filtered by the finance department with group level aggregates. Admins have the option of adding more groups as needed and the ability to omit groups. If, for example, the CFO was a member of the finance group, we can make sure the organizational message won't reach them by adding the C-Suites group to the omitted group list and clicking Next. Now I can determine the start and end date my message can be sent. For this example, I'm going to start my communication on September 20, and I'm going to finish it on October 15. Now I get to select frequency of message. We provide 4 options here, and for this example, I'm going to select once a week to see if I can increase the communication score for the finance team over the next month. Now that we've configured the message, we can review the choices we made on the next screen and then click Schedule. This message will now appear only for the users that don't see Microsoft Teams in the finance department. Using this approach, we've made it easy to provide targeted communications to reach the right users with the right message at the right time. In the future, we're looking to expand organizational messages to more than the people experiences in Adoption Score we have shown today. Scenarios related to employee onboarding and technology experiences will be included, and we'll also be providing more capabilities in the Admin Center. To help organizations build and oversee in-product communications across multiple experiences, Organizational messages in the Admin Center will allow for creation, management, and analysis of in-product communications sent to enterprise users, including the ability to customize messages as part of a premium capability. This experience will help to improve user outcomes in Microsoft 365 by giving organizations the ability to directly communicate with users in new and compelling ways. Now, I'll hand back over to Amisha to recap what we've discussed.
Thanks, James. These additions to the Microsoft 365 Admin Center show how it's evolving to meet the needs of more roles and responsibilities in IT orgs. You can access all of these experiences at admin.microsoft.com. As a reminder, Experience Insights is the dedicated space within the Admin Center where IT admins and adoption specialists can go to understand and take action to improve your org's experience with Microsoft 365. It's also an entry point into the richer experiences that help you further investigate specific data signals and is currently in targeted release for organizations greater than 20,000 seats. Adoption Score helps you understand and drive recommended practices to ensure the best user experience possible and maximize your investment in Microsoft 365. The new capabilities James talked about will start gradually rolling out from November 2022 as a public preview. Finally, organizational messages empowers you to reach the users like never before, at the right time, with the right message, and in the flow of their work. Look out for the private preview announcement of organizational messages in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center early next calendar year. This list of resources can help you take the next step on your journey to discover and use these new capabilities. Remember to check out the Microsoft 365 Public Roadmap and Message Center in the Microsoft 365 Admin Center to confirm when new and planned capabilities will be released to your tenant. And don't forget to provide us feedback in the lower right-hand section of the Admin Center. We're looking forward to reading and responding to your feedback.
Thanks for your time.